This is a video I didn't want to make. I never thought I'd have to make it. Last night I found out that a good friend of mine, Frankie B, also known as Pro Beez, has passed away. Very suddenly, unforeseen. I mean, making this video is just phenomenally difficult. I just want to pay some tribute to him. My thoughts, feelings, my heart goes out to his young family. He had kids, and obviously there's people in the Pep Talk UK circle that were much closer to Frankie than I was. People like Kenny Ken, Shaz, Joe Pugh. This is completely heartbreaking for me, so I can't imagine how it is for them. I first met or started interacting with Frankie a good few years ago now, when Pep Talk, I guess, was kind of in its infancy, and they got in contact with me to sort of do some boxing opinion on YouTube with them, and it was the first time I'd gone onto another channel other than my own to talk boxing. We did that for a bit, and then obviously COVID and that happened, and I had my own issues and things, so I wasn't very active on YouTube. And then during COVID, it was Frankie that reached out to me. Pro Beez reached out to me and said, everyone's at home, and it would be nice to just do maybe like a daily sort of boxing interaction, or every couple of days do a live chat thing, because he wanted to go down that route with Pep Talk. And I said, yeah, that's fantastic. And I hadn't done anything on YouTube for a while, but it was just so nice to me that he kept me in mind, and resurrected my love for boxing and doing YouTube videos at the time, because I was really sort of disillusioned with the whole thing. And again, earlier this year, I've been on Pep Talk quite a bit. I was quite regular on there, not so much recently. Again, I've got my own issues and things that we don't need to go into. But we kept in contact. This was the thing about Frankie. Whenever you thought that maybe he'd forgotten about you or something, he'd send you a message just to see how you're doing. And that's what it was with me. I was at a festival a couple of months ago working, just popped on my phone. How you doing, mate? During the Euros, again, we swapped. I mean, I'm not a massive football fan, nothing compared to what Pro was. Obviously, he was a huge Arsenal fan. And we'd message each other backwards and forwards. So just because, I haven't been necessarily on screen or in live chats with Pro for a good few months, we were still in contact, and I would have been messaging him today. I would have been messaging him for his final thoughts on the fight, see how he's doing, how excited he would have been. And that's the heartbreaking thing. He would have absolutely been so excited for tonight to see how this fight was going to go. I remember I was on my honeymoon. Back in 2018, and a video popped up on my phone, and it was Pro was in the car with Anthony Joshua, and they were having a laugh and having a conversation. He was friends with Anthony Joshua, had a very good relationship with Anthony Joshua. So I remember that popping up, and obviously my wife being a huge Anthony Joshua fan, I showed her the video. But I'm just sort of trying to highlight that, outside of YouTube, Pro Beez had time for everyone. He really did, and he had a positive impact. From what I've seen on Instagram and Twitter over last night, people paying tribute, Frank Warren paying tribute to him, various boxers paying tribute to him. No one had got a bad word. This guy had just a positive effect on anyone, and how toxic boxing YouTube or boxing discussion can be online, Pro was so good at being kind of above that, not getting dragged into it, keeping his dignity, and being friends with people on all sides, because it gets so partisan at times. You've got your Fury fans, you've got your Joshua fans, you've got your Wilder fans, you've got your Canelo fans, you've got your Golovkin fans, it gets so partisan, and you see all these sort of factions and things develop where people wrap a scarf around their neck and that's their team and they're not gonna budge on it. But Pro never got dragged into that. He was always above the fray, but had positive things to say about any boxer. He wouldn't go into the negative. And I'm grateful that I, got to know this guy. I mean, it's massively frustrating because the amount of times, it was a good couple of times, Pro happened to be coming up to Birmingham, and I'd get a message that just say, "Oh, Benji, I'm coming up to Birmingham today. You're about," and it just always happened. On a day when I'd have something on and I couldn't just stop what I was doing and go over to Birmingham and meet up with him. And of course, I deeply regret that now. But it's just circumstances, and I hoped that at some point this year we would be meeting up and collaborating and doing other stuff, in the world of boxing and YouTube and that. And it's just gutting, because when you look at how far Pro had brought Pep Talk, and I know he had a roadmap of plans on where he wanted his channel to go and what he wanted to do with it. It is so sad and so gutting that he's not going to be able to see that out. But yeah, I'm watching the fight tonight. Obviously I'll be watching it with slightly different feelings and emotions towards it, because there's just going to be a sort of, I don't know, bitter feeling, a regretful feeling throughout the fight that I wish he was seeing it, so anyway, I think that's everything I want to say. Pro Beez was such a positive person. I'm so glad that we got to interact. He's going to be massively missed by the whole community. And I think that's all I can say. Obviously, I'm finding this very, very difficult. Rest in peace, Frankie.